I think we added the Facebook. I think we just had one Facebook uh, page, so we added the other Facebook page. So I think now more people can look at a broadcast. All right, so let's go back to Sarah and get her perspective. Sarah, so what's a typical process? So walk us through. So anyone who's tuning in, this is Dr. Mahajan at Mahajan Medical Center, and we are talking to Bianca and Sarah. Sarah is the transplant coordinator for Living Donor Program at Largo Medical Center Transplant Center, and Bianca gave a beautiful gift to uh, her stepmom uh, for a kidney about a year ago. So, Sarah, question is for you now. Um, how is the process? So walk us through. Let's say, I need a kidney, and my, let's say, brother wants to donate it to me. So how does the process work? So walk us through the different steps, please.
Okay. So the first step is that the donor interested in being evaluated has to reach out to me. We don't call donors and ask them if they're interested. They all have to be self-referred. So they would contact me by email or phone or on our application website to become a living donor. At that time, I would review with them their medical history to see if they would potentially be a good candidate. And then we bring them in to the office for testing.
All right. So how long is the process in terms of once you have a match in terms of getting them on the table?
It really depends on the donor's timeline. The matching process takes about 7 to 14 days. And once we know if they're a match or they're willing to participate in a paired exchange program, then the donor can come in pretty much at their convenience for their testing. And it can be as slow or as fast as they want it to be done. Sometimes we've had patients that could not donate for 6 months after their testing, or I've had patients that, wanted to do it within the same month that they started their testing. So it's really based on what's good for the donor.
All right, so let's get Bianca back in the mix. So Bianca, so what was your experience? So once you raised your hand and you said yes, you want to give a beautiful gift to your stepmom, what was your experience after that? Walk us through what happened.
Well, it became very real because obviously it was going to happen. So we scheduled the surgery and stuff like that. I think from the testing into the surgery, I think it was about 3 months total that it took us to actually have the transplant.
And tell us about your emotions.
I was nervous, anxious. I guess you never know what is going to actually happen once you're in there. So you just hope that everything goes as it's supposed to. And it did. So
let's talk about your stepmom. How's she doing now since she got the transplant about a year ago? Is she not needing any dialysis anymore? And she's in good health, what you would say?
I think she's in great health. From what she says, she's the healthiest she's been in 25 years. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does she compare her experience, with her health when she was on dialysis? You said for 2.5 years before she got the kidney from you, correct?
3.5 years, yeah.
3.5 years. So she went through the rigors of the dialysis 3 days a week, going to a dialysis center and being exhausted post-dialysis and all the complications associated with dialysis, including the access issues and infections. So how does she feel now? She doesn't have to do all that.
Great. She's I want to say more energized. She's walking, exercising, and she's been in my life since I was about 6 years old. So seeing her do stuff that I've never seen her do is great.
That's a beautiful story. What's the question is for you, Sarah. So how many people you have now in the waiting list at the transplant center for the
How
for
many
the
living donors since we first started?
yes,
So we've done 36
36.
living donor surgeries.
And in terms of the wait time for the recipients, what's the wait time right now? How many people are looking for kidneys at your center?
We have about, I believe it's 60 to 65 patients on our wait list, and the average time on the wait list is about 3 to 5 years. It can definitely vary based on available organs.
Okay. So 60 to 65 people and 3 to 3.5 year wait time, if there is availability. And if they have a living donor as brave as our friend Bianca, then they can do it right away, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So, Bianca, the next question is to you. You've been 1 year post-surgery. How you been feeling?
I feel great. I work out about 5 days a week. I don't feel any different than I did before, as far as like my day-to-day life. I don't know that I'm missing a kidney.
And is that the typical experience, Sarah, that your other living donor shared with you?
Yeah, pretty much. They all do very, very well.
And the recipient, at the anniversary, give them a kiss and hug every year.
Of course.
What does your stepmom give you at the anniversary when she got the kidney, Bianca?
Our 1 year anniversary is tomorrow.
Oh, so surprise. I think it's a wonderful gift if anyone can give it to their loved ones, and in the quality of life they get is day and night. What I seen in post-transplant patient, whether living donor or not, the where they were with hemodialysis or peritoneal dialysis, which are the two options for chronic kidney disease patients, and then they get a gift from someone else or their family for living donor. It's just beautiful. It changes their life, and it gives such a warm glow in someone like Bianca, that they could make such a big difference in their loved one's life. What you would say, Bianca?
I mean, if you're willing to donate, I would definitely do it. It was a great experience. I would do it again. We're both living great lives now, and my stepmom's going to live a lot longer, and she's going to be a lot healthier.
And that's the key. People don't realize that how much quality of life you lose by being in the dialysis center. You pretty much can't work. Even with home dialysis, the logistics of managing the peritoneal dialysis or rarely hemodialysis at home, it's overwhelming, for the patients in terms of, and then the complications, the infections, and the life expectancy is not there either. So, if they can be lucky, like your stepmom, to get a living donor and get a pretty young kidney, which is nice and pink, I think that's a biggest blessing anyone can ask for. um, Sarah, have you seen a transplant with Dr. Muhammad in the operation theater?
I'm there every time.
All right, so let's describe us what happened when the kidney goes in and the urine start coming out is like a new birth, right?
It is. It happens right in the OR immediately.
So walk us through the experience. So let's say there's a living donor next door. So how does it happen?
The living donor goes first into the operating room, and by the time the kidney is ready to come out, they've taken the recipient into the adjacent operating room and to start prepping him or her for their surgery. So as soon as the kidney is out and packaged, it's immediately brought over to the recipient's operating room so that the amount of time that the kidney is on ice is very minimal.
All right, so that's a good to know. I'm going to share some slides from the center. Let me bring them up. Here we go. Let me turn them on. Just having a technical glitch getting them on. Give me a minute. So while we are bringing them on, tell us, what's your favorite memory of a story other than buying Coursera, which you want to share with our audience about the Living Donor Program?
I think that there's a special story with every single transplant that I get to do. The time that I get to spend with each of the donors, making them feel comfortable. And I mean, I don't really want to share any specific stories, but each one of them are special.
That's a good.
It's a very bond, that I think that I have with the patients when they're going to surgery.
All right, so let's bring the first slide up. And Sarah, you have new patient referrals at the Largo Med Kidney Transplant Center. To date is 563.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that number mean?
It means that there's been 563 patients that were referred to our center for evaluation for kidney transplant.
And out of that, how many you guys accept to do the transplant?
It varies. Like I said, we have about between 60 and 65 right now. It was larger, but due to the amount of kidney transplants that we've done this year already, our wait list numbers are lower.
Okay. And going down, you have the next piece about kidney transplant candidate referral 2018, 2019. So it's gone down from 2018 to 2019 from 751 to 559?
It was up in 2019. So it was 751 in 2019.
Okay, it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's the other way around. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. You had explosive growth. Dr. Muhammad does such a beautiful job. All right, so you got, going down that chart, you have 50 days, or less for all patients starting from evaluation. That's pretty fantastic. What's the national average there?
The national average from consent from consent to listing. I don't know what the national average is, to be honest.
Okay, I think we have another slide.
That's just something that that our center keeps track of. I'm not sure if every center keeps track of that, but we track all of the data for for donors, for recipients. We have a very comprehensive tracking, for information. But I don't believe other transplant centers track that.
Okay, so we mentioned 195 kidney transplant. Is that slide current, or there's more since then?
No, there's more since then. We're actually, I believe we're at 199 now.
Oh, wow. So the big landmark of 200 is coming.
Yes. Yeah. And it's going to be a living donor unless we, have another transplant in the meantime. But on November the 4th will be the 200 transplant.
Wow. That's amazing that the program started, you said 5 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing that in 5 years you're up to 200 and counting. All right, great. And then, 36, you mentioned the living donor, and that program is going strong for you.
Yes.
18% of the kidney transplants since inception is living donor, and that's, is getting bigger for you now with 32% of the kidney in 2019. So that's fantastic. And they have more recipients have, more years to live compared
Yes.
to the other program. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, so that's the, the CMS data, correct?
Correct.
All right, so the Largo Med has 5 bars, blue bar, the most you can get, and that's for the getting the deceased donor transplant faster. So that's 1 bar more than the Tampa Journal, and 1 bar more than Cleveland Clinic in Weston. So that's kudos to you guys.
Thank
And
you.
the only other center I see which is similar turnaround time is the Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood. And then the next piece is 1 year kidney survival. To me, that's a huge yardstick for how the center is run, and what's the quality of the outcomes from the surgeon to nurses to dietitian to the transplant nephrologist and the pharmacist.
Yeah.
You got 3 bars there, and I don't see anyone have 3 bars. So tell us about what's included and how you're so successful with the 3 bars.
We just really have a great team, and like I said, we keep a lot of data. Everything is very regulated. I think that we have a closer relationship with our patients. We're a smaller center, so I think that we're able to communicate better and just give more personal experience to our patients.
That's a good explanation. Let's get back to the data again. So we got, so let's go to the next slide. All right, so that's again the CMS data, correct, Sarah?
Yes, this is now we're at the SRTR.
So what?
Data.
Explain to us what's SRTR, the Scientific Registry Transplant of the Transplant Recipients, correct?
Correct.
Is that a private organization, non-for-profit? What's the status on SRTR?
So the status on the SRTR, all transplant centers report to SRTR, and that reports all of our outcomes monthly and yearly on living donors and survival of patients and graft survival.
Okay, and walk us through what we're seeing in these 2 graphs, Sarah.
Right here,
we got 1 year kidney transplant graft survival and 1 year kidney transplant patient survival, correct?
Correct.
So what we are seeing in these graphs?
That we are doing very well as opposed to what's estimated from our center based on it's a risk adjustment that they take the demographics and the conditions of the patients that we transplant, and they give us an expected outcome, which is here on the orange line, and the blue line there lets us know that despite all of our patients' comorbidities and their risk adjustment, that we're doing better than the national average.
So that's good to hear that, that's what I was pointing out earlier, that we have a slide that, your center is doing better than national average, both for the graft survival as well as the transplant patient survival. So that's
correct.
That's fantastic. So kudos to you guys for your team.
Thank you.
That in small time, 5 years is not a big time. A lot of transplant center takes decades to get the culture right. So you guys are doing something great. All right, so let's go to the next slide. It talks about the patient survival and the graft survival post-kidney transplant. What we seeing here, Sarah?
This is basically the same data as the last, but just on a different graft here. So okay. There's patient survival and graft survival, and it looks like we're the same, about 95, 96%.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, you have someone like Bianca take a, brave move and, getting one kidney and a gift of life to someone like her stepmom. You want to give it in the hand of a gifted team and you don't want it wasted. So that's good to see
Yeah.
that you guys are doing fantastic there. All right,
Yeah.
let's go to the next.
Our graft survival for the living donors and also patient survival is at 100%. So
Wow.
that doesn't show that here, but we're at 100% for living donors.
Wow, 100% for living donor. And you said the living donor program has been at Largo Med for how long now?
We did the first living donor transplant in 2016.
So it's 4 years. So that's
Mhm.
a great achievement, 100%. All right. So then now, if let's say someone wants to become a living donor, watching this program, what they need to do.
They just need to reach out to me, to our program, call our office, and let us know that they want to be a living donor.
Now let's go back to our start of the show, Bianca, and see how she can motivate other people to, do the gift of life she done. So what you will tell our audience, Bianca, that nothing to be afraid of. If you love someone and you want to give the best gift ever, give your kidney to them, and God willing, the gifted surgeons will bring in fresh urine coming from their own system instead of dialysis doing it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you do love someone and you're thinking about it, especially like my experience at Largo Medical Center is they inform you about everything. And Sarah was great, and she talks with and you talk to other people when you're going through the process. So you're very educated, and they definitely helped me, walk me through the process. I never really, I guess, was scared. I guess I was anxious just because naturally was anxious, but I never was nervous, or I never thought I was in the wrong hands. But if you love someone and you're thinking about doing it, I would reach out to Sarah.
That's a great, great point, Bianca. And thank you again for the beautiful gift you given to your stepmom and your courageous decision. That must give you every day when you're going to bed, must give you a good feeling in your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Bianca.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's been great.
Any other points we missed, Sarah, that you want to share with our audience about the Living Donor Program or Largo Medical Transplant Program? One point I wanted to bring up, and I think it's very important. We were just chatting before this webcast. Is once you get a transplant, you're tied with the transplant center with the umbilical cord for the rest of your life, right?
Yes.
Right, Sarah
Yes.
and Mike.
Mhm.
So, I know there are choices, which is good to have choices. Competition is good. And, if you can get a good center of excellence with a great team like what we have at Largo Medical Center, I think the big advantage for our patients with chronic kidney disease who are opting for either living donor or stay on the list for kidney transplant is that they don't have to travel, because every you're telling me, Bianca, that you have to get checkup every for first 2 years, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Go ahead, Bianca.
Yeah, so when I got checked up, I think a couple weeks after my surgery, and then I came 3 months, 6 months, and then today was my 1 year, and then I'll go back in one more year. So it's not like constant follow up, but you do get followed up for 2 years after.
And if you have to travel 15 minutes versus an hour, it reduces the hassle if you're a donor. Not a big deal, but everything adds up considering what we just saw, their data, their survival rate is 100% for living donor program. So that makes a lot of sense to keep local, right,
Yes.
Bianca?
Yes.
And for your stepmom must be, a big blessing not to go very far. And, she has to get her, drugs checked and make sure there's no infection, God forbid, and get biopsies done, make sure the kidneys are not getting rejected. So, and that's a lot of commitment if you have to go 1 hour drive, you know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and she does a lot more follow up than I do. So she spent quite a bit of time at Largo Medical Center.
Anything else, Bianca, you want to add to, the advantage of being local, other than what we discussed so far?
No.
Anything else, Sarah? You want to brag about your center?
Sure, sure. I would like to say, there is, if even if you do have to travel for living donors, there's financial assistance available for, gas money or plane tickets, hotel stays, things like that, that make it easier for living donors to, for their accommodations. So even if you're not local, that those things can be taken care of.
So that's a good point. So luckily for Bianca's stepmom, she was in the same town, but you may have a child or friend or sibling who's a match, and they may be a few hundred miles away, so they can get some assistance for traveling. You're saying, Sarah?
Correct, correct.
Mm. So that's good to know. So that makes at least some inconvenience away from the donor. Yeah. Um, so, anything else you guys want to add? We'll give a final shout out to Bianca for doing wonderful gift to stepmom. Anything else you want to add to encourage people to be a living donor?
I mean, I had a great experience. I feel no different as far as like me missing a kidney, but I mean, I had a great experience, and that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much for the gift you gave to your stepmom, and she must be jumping up and down every day with joy. Uh, So that's a great, great gift anyone can give. Any kind of transplant, whether it's corneal transplant or liver, or God forbid, like for example, I have on my driver license, God forbid I get killed in a car accident or something, then at least some of my things live through with someone else. So it's good to do that when you're renewing your driver license to become a donor. Uh, and if you have an opportunity like Bianca had to be a living donor, the good news is that your organs won't go waste, because a good center of excellence like Largo Medical Center can get 100% guarantee that they'll work. So that gives that anxiety out of your mind that I gave a kidney and didn't work. So that's good to know. Any final word, pearls of wisdom you have, Sarah, for our public?
Um, Words of wisdom, not really. I do want to thank Bianca for her, it is, you're right, it's such a special gift. And, Bianca was willing from the very first day I met her, and I knew that she really wanted to donate to her mom. And I'm so happy that, she was able to do it. Thank you to Bianca.
Yeah, and that's job security for you too, Sarah, right?
Yeah, and just when sometimes I see her mom in the clinic, and I just see such a difference, and I know that me helping Bianca, with all her testing and educating her, like I was part of that, to see her mom just do so well, and it's really awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, we missed Dr. Muhammad, but you girls did better job than him. So tell him he's
Don't
better
tell
off.
him that. Don't tell him that.
Tell him he's better off providing the gift he has with his hands than with his mouth.
Yes.
You guys were fantastic surrogate spokesperson for Dr. Muhammad. But thank you so much for coming to Mahajan Medical Center webcast, Bianca and Sarah. And you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. And I'm pretty sure the dinner at Thanksgiving in your house, Bianca, will be very festive and 1 year celebration for all the blessings your family have with such a good donor and big-hearted donor, and she did well. So it's fantastic. Thank you guys, and if you want to stick around, we're going to do a breathing exercise very quick, and we need to also do a raffle. So if you want to stick around, you can stick around. And otherwise, you guys have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, so we're back. We appreciate Sarah and Bianca spending time with us, and bringing a very uh, important uh, topic of discussion, that if you have something to give, and it's a big decision, you have two kidneys, and what to do if your one kidney you have goes bad, but in current day and time, with modern medicine, there is good chance that that may not happen, and a living donor, will have a event-free life, and they do good screening to make sure it's a good match. So the recipient and donor both will do well. With that, we finished the kidney transplant living donor piece of our webcast today. We're going to focus on the uh, you know a uh, we're going to do the let's bring some comments here. Ray saying, Dr. Mahajan, guests and staff is great. Thank you, Ray, for your kind encouragement. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort from the whole team to put together this show. So we appreciate you sharing it with your friends and family and watching it on every Thursday. Diana Fink is saying, it's good to know that the transplant can be done right here at home. Yes, absolutely. They've been doing it for 5 years, and and they are 100% success rate. What Sarah was saying with the living donor program, that's amazing. That what can go wrong, and they are such a good team that they can get 100% success rate. So that's good to know. Sandy said, blessings. Yeah, that's a blessings to have donor like Bianca and the families who don't even think twice in terms of giving a great gift to her stepmom. And let's see who Michelle tuned in. Thank you, Michelle. You're a kind, listener to our Mahajan Medical Center webcast, and we appreciate you doing that every Thursday. Mr. and Mrs. Gupta has been a very kind listener to our webcast from inception, so we appreciate their support. Today's, let's see, we got a draw to make for the Publix gift card. Let's see what we have up here. Let me just rotate the drum. Now, let's do one more time, and let's see who is the winner. All right. All right, we got a winner right here. Let me put the drum away. There we go. Yeah. Let's see who's the winner today. All right, the winner is Dorothy Scott. Dorothy has been a very strong supporter of our webcast from get-go. So we appreciate her support, and we want to congratulate Dorothy Scott for the winner. So let's do the breathing exercise. The breathing exercise we have today is Brahmari Pranayam, or B sound pranayam. It's very simple and very profound. It's one of my favorite breathing exercise. It's very easy to do. It's not a difficult one, and you can do in the morning. You can do in the evening. Better not to do laying down. Do it sitting. Get to the edge of the chair and make sure your feet are touching the ground. And then what you do is get your both ears covered with your thumb, and then get your eyes closed and touch the your index finger on your forehead, and gently close your eyes, and then have the finger rest on your bridge of your nose, and then close your ears gently, and then breathe in. And then when you're breathing out, you make the buzzing sound of the bee, and then you can bring your neck down. and bring your neck up, and then take another breath. And then bring your neck down and make the buzzing sound of the bee. One more time, breath in, and then put your neck down, make the buzzing sound of the bee. That's it. You can do it a cycle of 10 of those, and that will help you relax and calm you down through the rest of your day. And it will help you, get into a deeper meditative state. If you are doing other breathing exercises, you can combine with that. And with that, we come to the end of the show. We're going to have Dr. Rakesh Sharma, who will be on our webcast next Thursday. Dr. Sharma is one of the preeminent cardiologists in the area. He does a lot of angioplasties and stenting at Modern Plant. He's part of the Baycare cardiology team, and he's going to talk about how to reduce and prevent heart attacks and coronary artery disease. So he has years and years and decades of experience as a cardiologist and as invasive cardiologist in the area. So we are very thrilled to have him on our next webcast, and he's going to talk about the ischemic heart disease. Thank you so much for being a good listener, and thank you so much for supporting our webcast, and continue to share and like and give us a thumbs up and a wow, so that gives us more encouragement. And be nice to yourself, be nice to Mother Nature, be nice to your friends and family, and smile in front of the mirror. Ciao.